Hi y'all. Well, I'm trying to fill this area in now. I've got several perennials that I'm fixing to plant and a few annuals. I don't know if I'm going to get to many of the annuals in this video, but I'm definitely going to get to some of these perennials. They're struggling. I'm struggling to keep them watered in these pots. And I want to fill this area in more, so there's a lot less weeding. You know, if you can fill in an area with a lot of plants, the more plants you put, the less mulch you're going to have to use, and the less weed you're going to have to pull, because the plants will help smother out the weeds. You just have to be careful with certain plants. You don't want to, fill in too much around, because some plants need, a lot more airflow to combat disease, like, for instance, roses. You wouldn't want to just crown pack all around a rose where the plants are growing up all around it and through it, because then you're probably going to have an issue with, black spot and that kind of thing, especially if you're in a more humid climate like I am. And so I'm going to show y'all some of the things I'm fixing to plant here. I've got phlox, salvia. I got 2 different kinds of phlox, and salvia and an allium that I'm going to plant right here in this area. I think that's it for this area. As I get going, we'll see. But let's get started with some of this planting. This is one of the phlox I'm going to plant. I thought this was beautiful. It looks white from a distance, but it actually has a lot of, it's white and purple. I'm not sure how that's going to show in the camera, but it's just a garden phlox. It says it blooms early summer to fall. I hope this one continues to bloom. I've never grown this one before. It says it gets 12 to 18 inches, and you're supposed to place it about 14 inches wide, and it's hardy to minus 40. So, and honestly, I probably could divide this, but I don't think I'm going to, because it's been on the struggle bus. But I will probably divide this next year, because I wouldn't mind spreading this one around a little bit. So let's get planting. I also think that white is going to help break up some of this, or help cool down this area a little bit, because it's got quite a bit of orange and yellow, and of course there's purples and pinks and different colors here too. But I have 3 Nephophias here. 2 of them are the orange, and I'm not sure, I don't remember if that one in the middle seems like it might be yellow, but it could possibly be a red one. And they're just starting to bloom, and they're looking beautiful. This is so dry. I'm just looking to see if this could be divided, and it definitely could be divided. And if you were going to divide this, you would just want to kindly look up in here and take you a knife and cut down the middle here. Maybe not in the middle, but you can see in here where the splits are. But like I said, I'm not going to do that today. since this one's been struggling to stay watered. I'm not going to stress it anymore. If it was earlier in the growing season, I probably would go ahead and divide it, but sometimes with some things it's better to wait about dividing, especially if the plant is already kind of stressed. And this one, like I said, having trouble keeping it watered. I don't want to add to the stress on it. Okay, there's that one. I'm going to go ahead and put a little water here. Okay, now I'm going to show y'all this salvia. This is the Pink Profusion. It's going to get a little over a foot tall and a little over a foot wide. And I don't think I have the Pink Profusion. I'm not positive, but I'm going to plant it here beside this evergreen and this butterfly bush. I think it's going to look really pretty here. Now this salvia, see how leggy it is? You could hold this up like this and actually cut it way back. I'm not going to do that today, but you can see where it's sprouting up new all in the middle. And it would fill in a whole lot faster if you cut it back about half. And I might do that later, because it really actually would benefit from being cut back some. Okay. Yeah, you can see how that would definitely benefit from getting cut back. And I may do it, but I don't have my clippers right now, so I'm going to wait. Right here I'm planning on planting this is basically another type of garden phlox. I'll get one and show y'all, but I thought it would be pretty on each side of the walkway. A few weeks ago when this was in full bloom, and you can see there's still one little bloom there. And it'll have more. It's shooting out all new growth. This is the paparazzi jagger. And it's going to get 10 inches high and 14 inches wide, which will work out perfect right here beside of the walkway. So let's get started planting it. There's a white butterfly bush here. So that white butterfly bush with this lavender colored phlox is gonna really be pretty. And then I have the oh so easy Italian ice rose right there, which is also beautiful. This phlox I think is pretty pretty easy. Well, I should say, I think this phlox is pretty drought tolerant. Or it can withstand, you know, some dry spells. Which is fine with me. The stuff that's going to be less maintenance is just easier. You don't have to mess with it as much. I'm ready to get rid of these weeds and get my mulch down. My fresh mulch. This dirt right here, this area, has a little more clay. Which can benefit your plants, but it also can cause an issue if you've got a lot of rain. However, this is not the red, terrible red clay like you see in Georgia and North Carolina. Which is full of nutrients, but you do need to, they have to amend their soil and do things, extra things, and depending on what they're planting. But I don't really have to do here because we have darker, richer, sandier soil. I thought this purple allium would be here, pretty here beside of the orange Nephofia, the yellow Rudbeckia, and the orange and yellow orange glow tree rose here. Let's see. It's going to be a little tricky digging in this little spot without breaking something. But I have an allium on the other side, and I kind of wanted one on this side to match it. Smell it. Since they're in the onion family, you don't really have many critters that bother your alliums. And I'm going to show y'all with this one. This is the Serendipity. I probably should have showed that first. And it's going to get 20 inches tall and 15 inches wide. But I want to show y'all something. You could also divide this one. You could divide this one in several different little clumps if you wanted to. You see each one of these little sections. You could divide this one in half or in 3 or 4, you know, little clumps if you wanted to. But I'm not going to do that today either. Now next year, some of this stuff is going to probably get divided, just so I can spread it around and have extra in different areas without having to buy more of it. And they pretty much take care of themselves. You know, it's like I said, it's in the onion family, so just a little bit of fertilize about once in the growing season is really about all you have to do with it. Alrighty, there's that. Now I'm going to give y'all an overall shot of what it's looking like so far. And ignore the weeds around the fire pit. I still got to take care of those. And this is what this area is looking like so far. You can see I've got a few annuals sitting around that I'm going to plant here. But I think they're going to have to wait for another video. And y'all look at my butterfly bench. I got that a few days ago in Chattanooga. And I love it. I think it looks so pretty here with these tree roses and all the roses and flowers that are starting to bloom. And those hibiscus, those hardy hibiscus behind that, once they start blooming here in the next couple weeks or so, it's going to be absolutely beautiful. Anyways, I guess that's it for today. Until next time, bye.